I listened to my brother and I shouldn't have. I am not Oop. Oop is you, Pale Ad 3608. Account now is suspended. Originally posted to R. True off my chest. I listened to my brother and I shouldn't have. Editor's note. Both original and updated posts have been preserved by Wayback Machine. Trigger warnings. Accusations of infidelity, manipulation, stalking and boundary violations. Less than. And NBSP. Original post February 8, 2024. I met my ex-wife Kelly when we were in college when she asked me for some notes one day. We had been sitting next to each other for weeks without a word until then. We started dating and got serious pretty quickly, which upset my younger brother Robert. Robert was about 16 when I started dating Kelly, and you could tell that he had a bad crush. She was always nice and took it in stride. After Robert left home and got into college, I let him move in with us. Kelly and I had been together about 3 years, living together for 2. We all had a good relationship. Kelly started complaining things were misplaced soon. One of her earrings would disappear. Her panties. Sometimes it was socks. She was under a ton of stress, changing medications. So we both chalked it up to her ADHD giving her an issue until one day, I caught my brother with a pair of her missing panties. We found everything he stole. We kick him out and he goes to live with my parents again and begs for forgiveness and decides to go to therapy. It takes about 5 years. But we all decide it was water under the bridge, Kelly included. Robert had a hard life growing up. He said it was all acting out. Late 2022. I received an anonymous email that Kelly was cheating on me. He knew dates she was out of town, names of coworkers, and everything. They gave me no photographs, but knew enough details that I was sure they were telling the truth. Kelly fought me on it, denied it, begged for marriage counseling, but cheating is a solid deal-breaker for me. Robert came to stay with me as my emotional support while Kelly was there. Kelly had asked me to get him to leave multiple times, stating that he was watching her and making her feel uncomfortable. But all I said were things I'd rather not repeat about her not being trustworthy. The day she left last April, she said to me that it was going to turn out to be my pervert brother, and that if it is, she hopes I feel every ounce of pain I just put her through. My brother has apparently been racked with guilt and confessed last weekend. He told me in front of our parents. I couldn't say anything. I just walked out and went home. I turned my personal phone off and I've just been walking in a daze. I go to work, come home, I watch TV, and I go to bed. I can't tell you what I've eaten for the past week, what I've watched. My dad came by to talk to me tonight and he wants me to talk to my brother. Tell him that it's going to be okay and we can work through it. I turned on my personal phone for the first time to see hundreds of texts from my brother. I just want to reach out to Kelly and beg for forgiveness and ask her if we can start over. Top comments. Lush Flower not to kick you when you're down, but your soon-to-be ex-wife warned you. And it sounds like your parents support him still, even though he's blown up your relationship twice and terrorized your wife for years. You all made choices and now you're gonna have to live with them. You should tell her she was right, so she can have validation. But don't expect understanding, forgiveness, or a reconciliation. She's better off away from you and your toxic family, especially that psycho stalker brother of yours. Juju BNYC girl, you should have trusted and listened to Kelly. She's better off and you should not bother her. And NBSP. I contacted my ex-wife. February 11th, 2024. I vented on Reddit about finding out that my brother faked that my wife had an affair on a business trip. I'd been in a daze since I found out. I kept reading that everyone said leave Kelly alone. But I sent her an email to where we had been communicating about little things that popped up and Then I went to bed. I apologized. Told her that I know I can't mend things. But that she was right and that Robert was out of my life and probably my parents. 2. I didn't expect an email back. But I received one and it was massive. It was filled with a lot of personal things that I don't want to repeat. She said she understood the desire to listen to that email, but that she wasn't even able to defend herself. That I just gave her time to get out and then immediately moved Robert into our home where she watched him intentionally keep us from communicating as she was forced to leave. She said she would have done anything. Let me talk to her coworkers. Check her geo-tracking. But Robert kept a permanent buffer and I allowed it, belittling and mocking her along with him whenever she attempted to talk to me. She thanked me for the closure on this chapter of her life and she wished me the best. But she asked me not to contact her again. Ever. After the year and 3 months she said she endured. She isn't the same woman I knew. She asked me to set the record straight with any former mutual acquaintances. But she honestly never wants to hear from any of them either. And to tell them so. She told me I poisoned that well when I accused her of what I did. And it was the most bitter and isolating experience she's ever dealt with and that she genuinely feels nothing for anyone in her former life, including me. She also told me cutting out Robert is a great idea. But don't cut them off trying to get her back or even in her good graces because she is moving overseas on a fiancé visa to try things out with her new fiancé. She said they've only been dating 8 months. But she's never felt this way about anyone in her life and that she thinks he might be her soulmate. She told me to learn from my mistakes with her and to find someone to love more than I loved her. It crushed me to see the word soulmate. She used to tell me all the time she thought I was her soulmate. I called my dad yesterday morning after reading the email and I told him that I am not going to comfort Robert. He ended my marriage through lies, made me a liar to all of my friends, and isolated and hurt one of the most loving, loyal people on the planet who tried so many times to help him. My relationship with Robert is over. And I told him that if he has a problem with that, my relationship with him is over. 2. My dad told me he understood truly how bad it was once I broke it down that way. I'm going to put in a transfer request at work tomorrow. I live on the West Coast. Maybe I'll head to the East Coast. I'm going to get a change in scenery, a therapist, and figure myself out. Top comments. Zesty Close Sky 8765. I'm glad she found her soulmate. I hope she can heal from the pain you put her through. Starry Dust 4444. I'm sure you are feeling pretty down about this response, but it sounds to me like she got her life together after you pulled the rug right out from under her and is on the right path. I'm happy for her and glad she found someone who will treat her with the respect she deserves. You, however, need to do some serious soul searching and ask yourself why you were so quick to believe these lies. I'm sure some simple replies to the email asking for additional details would have caused the whole scheme to fall apart. And why you didn't respect your own wife enough to listen to her. You've got a lot of work to do on yourself before you even think of embarking on another relationship. An NBSP. This is a repost sub IAM not oop. An anonymous email shows up with a couple of details and he's ready to blow up his marriage without any proof. I am glad she moved on. I'm happy Kelly found someone who was safe for her. I couldn't imagine having your partner turn on you like that with someone who terrorized you. Oop should have immediately started questioning his brother the moment Kelly brought it up. The fact he was so blinded when she pointed it out kinda shows how he really felt about her. I feel like we've been getting a variation of this story every day for a few days now. Op has an absolutely wonderful relationship with a good person, But a very unreliable side character shows up alleging infidelity and bearing absolutely ludicrous evidence, which somehow manages to torpedo the relationship because OP's hard line on cheating somehow requires them to take it seriously. Discoveries are made, entire families fracture, lots of disowning occurs, and so on. Those evils masterminds responsible for every OOP's problems sure love to confess. Honestly, I'm glad that OP is facing the consequences of his actions. And all the best to Kelly for the new chapter in her life. I'll repeat what I said when I first saw those posts. This is what happens when you're the type who goes blank is a solid deal breaker for me. No exceptions ever. And go nuclear like OOP did. It doesn't even have to be cheating. I've seen couples break up because one of them was thought that the other did something that they considered a deal breaker. And by the time the truth came out, things were said that couldn't be unsaid. And actions that couldn't be undone. He ended my marriage through lies. Made me a liar to all of my friends. And isolated and hurt one of the most loving, loyal people on the planet. Nah man. You ended your marriage. Didn't bother to ask questions or try to get your loving, loyal wife's input. And told all your friends. The brother is a creep. But OOP inexplicably believed him way too quickly. Especially given the long history Robert had had of being grossly obsessed with Kelly. This part completely reads like OOP had no part in divorcing his wife and somehow Robert nuked his life without his enthusiastic cooperation. I hope that extremely loving and loyal woman has found true happiness with her new fiancé. OOP deserves what he gets. The fact he didn't clear her name to his peers once he found out the truth is sickening. She had to tell him to do that. This means that he still hasn't truly reflected on the situation and what he has done. It reminds me of the story of one of my ex-colleagues. Their kid was sick and at the hospital. Cancer. They're fine now. And the wife received information about colleague stating that he was cheating on her while she was with their kid in the hospital. She didn't even ask him for explanations, proof or whatever. She just cheated on him. When I learned that, I was shocked and wondered why not just break up? But ya know they have kids and the family yada yada. A few months after this incident they were both cheating on each other. Vaguely knowingly. It's been a few years and I think they're still together. Dunno if they're still cheating. But we all decide it was water under the bridge. If that water is still dirty. Though. Stupid sayings don't help anyone but the toxic and abusers. Keep it in the family. Don't rock the boat. Turn the other cheek. It's in the past. Fuck that. Meanwhile, the toxic abuser barely had to make any changes. Yes, believe the perverted little thief. A case of FAFO. He deserved to lose her.
Good for her. Clapping hands.
OOP. I take cheating very seriously. Pouting. Also OOP. This email has weirdly personal details about my wife and doesn't have any actual proof. But gave me some numbers and dates that anyone close to me could have found out on Facebook. I'm going to accuse my wife of cheating and nuke our relationship from orbit this instant. I love a happy ending. What a dumbass. The anonymous email had no proof, but that was all I needed. Kelly is the MVP of the story. OOP and Robert need therapy for different reasons. Lol. This woman is badass. OOP had it coming. Good luck to her and her soulmate. OOP is as much of a boss as his brother. Enablers never understand that they are just as much of the problem as the toxic trash they enable. I would have beat my brother inches from death. But then again, I wouldn't have believed the email as gospel anyway. Robert is gonna piss off the wrong person someday. He's lucky his brother didn't lay a hand on him. This dude was an idiot from day one. You can blame brother all you want. Idiot. You fell for it. No boundaries. WTF.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.